Hi guys, it's Deborah. Welcome to my channel. So in this video today, I'm going to share my 60-day journey of doing alternate day fasting. I'm going to share what I did, why I did it, how I did it, and where I am today. So let's go. So what is ADF? ADF is alternate day fasting. It's a protocol, a system. And what I'm going to refer to it today is ADF is a framework. And I'll explain as I go what I mean by that. So alternate day fasting as a framework, as a system, a protocol that you implement into your life. It's not a diet. It consists of a 48-hour chunk of time. And that 48 hours is split into a fasting time and an eating time. That's why it's fast, eat, repeat. So within that framework of that 48-hour period, generally across the board is a 36-hour fast, which then equals a 12-hour eating window. And that's a great launching pad, using that protocol to start alternate day fasting. You could also do 38-hour fast, which would give you a 10-hour eating window. And the way I started was with a 40-hour fast, which left me an 8-hour eating window. And I say within that range, 36 to 40 hours is an amazing framework for this protocol. So how I found ADF was just like the last week of July-ish. I was at the absolute lowest point of my life. I was in a health crisis. I was in an existential crisis. I was at the lowest point of my life, and my weight was the highest. I was 189.4 during that week of the end of July. I knew that that was my highest weight. I'm 54 and 5'3". That is like, I was on the obese scale, and literally I was like not being able to function in my daily activities. I was so low. I was in such a dark place. I didn't know how to get myself out of that place. There were a few things that were going on at that time. So I'm an astrology buff, and there was this astrological event that was occurring on July 31st. And it was, just to give you a little synopsis, it was the North Node was conjuncting with Uranus and Mars at the 18-degree mark, which is directly on my sun in my birth chart. This was huge for me, and I knew that something was going to shift. Part of me was hoping for a miracle. Like, I didn't know what to do. But some of the messages that were coming to me, like, I was really reaching out. I was, my spiritual practice is just kind of communing with the universe, the divine energy, whatever your spiritual practice is. I'm just sharing mine. So I didn't know how to get myself out of this. And there was part of me that was hoping for a miracle or some external rescue. And there were a couple of messages that came to me. So first it was this astrological event. And then I had been listening to Mel Robbins, who is a motivational speaker. And one of her talks about how to change your life, she said, nobody is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. That triggered me, like, massively. It was the message I needed to hear. It was hard. And I knew in that moment with the message of, this astrological event was calling for people to make a dramatic change in their life using their will, their inner strength to move towards their destiny or your purpose or your, your where you're supposed to be, because we're always moving away from something towards something. Change is inevitable. It's part of our life experience. And I knew that resonates with me. And I didn't know, like I knew that, but I just didn't know how to put all these pieces together. And so in my moment of absolute just destitute, I asked the universe to help me help myself. I knew that if I didn't do something immediately, I was going to, like, my world, which was already sort of bare bones, was going to get worse. And I couldn't even imagine that. So anyway, that's what I did. Reached out and asked the universe to help me help myself. I didn't know how that was going to come out. I just trusted that process for me. And surely the answer came. I don't remember if it was in hours or days. I was just searching for different things on the internet, on YouTube, and I came across alternate day fasting. I had never heard of alternate day fasting. I have done other forms of intermittent fasting, but I honestly never heard of alternate day fasting. So I was like, I was like so interested. So I started watching other people's journey. I landed on Colleen Marie. And one of the things that she said in one of her shares of her experience with alternate day fasting is she said, and I'm not quoting, but just basically, if you do a true alternate day fast, you can't not lose weight. And I grabbed onto that and I thought, okay, here's a system. It seems seemingly simple to me. You fast one day, you eat the next, and you will lose weight. And at those moments, I believed that what I needed the most was to lose weight. I knew my whole life needed some kind of an overhaul. My health, my mental health, my spiritual health, everything was like really rock bottom for me. So I decided, and I knew the benefits of fasting for the body, like the basics of how fasting can heal your body and also the spiritual aspects that fasting can bring. And I wanted that. I was ready for that. So I felt like nothing could be harder than what I was living through. So in that moment, on July 31st, 2022, I decided I was going to do alternate day fasting. But I knew I had tried so many things in the past that weren't not sustainable for me, or I had failed. And I knew that I needed to do this all the way. I just didn't have any room left in my energy field to fail or be disappointed or let down. I knew that whatever little bit of spark was left in me, I had to go all the way. So, and I knew that I needed to go deep. For me, it was weight loss was what propelled me, but there were so many more deeper things. So, and I knew that. So I made a declaration to myself. And in this declaration, I knew this is a system that works. Many successful people have used this system, and I knew it worked. I have used it in other areas of my life, and I knew that if I was going to be successful with alternate day fasting, I had to apply this. I couldn't just go on some whimsical journey again. To me, that's like being a leaf in the wind. You're not solid. So I thought, okay, I created my what, why, how. So my what was alternate day fasting. And my what was alternate day fasting. My why, I created this list, and I'll share it with you. When I compare to where I was on July 31st, 2022, and where I am today, it's October 4th, 2022. So I did that. I wrote down my what, my why, lots of stuff on my why list, and then the how. So the how for me was strict alternate day fasting because during my research, I saw a little bit of everything, and I knew what part of what my structure that I needed to build was. I knew what would work and what wouldn't work. And the whole, do alternate day fasting during the week and then just eat on the weekends. I knew that would just take me right out. So I thought, okay, I'm doing hardcore, strict, whatever, true ADF. So within this ADF framework that I had designed for myself, I included the structure of that. So my fast was water, black coffee, and I don't drink tea, but you could have unflavored tea. And I knew that was my no option zone. Fasting for a minimum of 36 hours, water, black coffee, boom. That was simple for me. And then the eating window, part of what appealed to me was eat whatever you want during your eating window for a minimum of 8 hours. I thought that was like, oh my God. And with the belief system of hearing these messages that, you do this, eat whatever you want and you will lose weight. So I thought, okay. I knew that I needed to dial in my eating protocol at some point to achieve my other goals, which is to heal my gut, balance my hormones, like lots of stuff health-wise. So, but I decided that the most important part for me was to focus on my 36 to 40 hour fast. That I knew instinctively, if I could get that down, the eating window diet part would come together. Yeah, so that's what I did. I created my what, my why, and my how, and then I just went. I literally did that on July 31st, and my first fast day was August 1st, 2022. And I have stayed the course. It's now day 65, but I've done this protocol within this 48-hour chunk of time consistently for 60 days. So I'll share really what truly appealed to me about alternate day fasting was the structure. It seemed like a very simple structure to me. And I'm I have a Virgo moon, if that means anything to anybody, but it's very I like detail, I like structure, I like discipline, I like to know A, B, C, here we go. So on an emotional level, it appealed to me. This is what you do here. This is what you do here. Go. Made sense to me. And it was simple. And I didn't have to buy anything. I didn't have to buy a book. I didn't have to buy anything. It was just boom, here's what it is, start. And at that point, that was a massive benefit to me. And then what also appealed to me was that, eat whatever you want. I have done, and the reason why this appealed to me was that I did not want to ever again do anything that was so restrictive. I had done keto. I will never do keto. Even the word just makes me restricting so many things. I'm a foodie. I love food. So knowing that I could be in a social environment and eat what was being served, or if I felt like having oatmeal, I could eat the oatmeal. I didn't have to worry about baking egg white bread or anything. The first time I was like, oh my God, I can bake and cook and do all these things that I love to do and haven't done for so long because I was doing all these restrictive diets that made me miserable. So anyway, that was a huge appeal factor for me. And I believed, based on what I was hearing, other women who were successful at this alternate day fasting framework was that it was a no-fail system. And I understood what happens on a very basic level, what happens to your body during fasting. When you're not consuming calories, your body is utilizing fat stores. And then when I started to do even more research, the longer the fast, the more incredible benefits you get. So like lowered ghrelin levels, which decreases your hunger, and increased leptin, which balances out your satiety, and also the autophagy. I was so sick. I knew my body was so damaged. Like so many things leading up to, like, in the last 3 years, I had like a major surgery. They had pumped me full of antibiotics. I knew my body was like broken. So knowing that I was going to go into this phase of actual healing was like one of the major benefits, because I had done 16-8 and I'd actually tried OMAD, which was a nightmare for me. But I knew that if I did this, I wouldn't just lose weight. I believed I would lose weight, but the fact that I was going to heal my body from all this physical trauma that, and even emotional and stress, the role it plays in breaking your body down and disease and all that. Anyway, I wanted that. I wanted my hormones balanced, I'm in my 50s. I don't want to be subject to that when I could fix it. I didn't have to take pills. I didn't have to, do anything. I believe that fasting is medicine. I'm part hippie. I'm like a closet hippie, and I believe in natural processes. And another really important thing that appealed to me was I understood that alternate day fasting is not a diet. It's a framework. It was the message that I received right off the bat was, here's the frame of the house, and how you put together the furniture in the house was completely independent. And I like that. I'm like uber independent. I think for myself. I like to put things in place that resonate with me. I didn't have to follow anybody else. I didn't have to buy any special food or restrict anything. Even when I heard you don't have to count calories, I was just like, oh my God, all this messaging and programming that we've received has anesthetized our own ability to intuit what our bodies need. And I was that girl. I didn't even know what to do anymore. So anyway, this structure I knew was going to help me build my own intuitive lifestyle, like living intuitively, living authentically. What was good for me, not Sally or Susie. They're doing their thing. So that was a huge appeal. So where am I today after 60 days of doing alternate day fasting? So I have lost over 16 pounds, which is huge for me. If you see my before and after pictures, you can see my face was almost deformed looking. I couldn't even see myself in that girl. My eyes were like, there was no spark. And now today, my face, the inflammation has decreased significantly. And I noticed the sparkle in my eyes. My skin is starting to heal. I was really, really puffy and bloated. And and I know after 60 days, that's not water weight. That is legitimate weight loss. And actually it's fat loss, because my starting weight was 189.4 and I currently weigh 172.8. That's a lot of weight, for me. My body fat percentage on day one was 55.2%. More than half of me was fat. currently my body fat percentage is 43% and 43 and change. That is like over 12% loss of body fat. And I attribute that to those minimum of 36-hour fasts. During those fasting periods, and I worked and I carried on with life. Not so much the first week, but I'll talk about that in a sec. So during those fasts, I knew that my body was being fueled by fat stores and I could feel it. I still have a long way to go, but I know that what's happening to me is not just water weight. It's legitimately fat. And then also my body mass percentage, my muscle mass percentage was 29.4. In a healthy female, it should be like between 60 and 70. I was just like fat. So on starting date, 29.4 of my muscle mass, and today it's 34%. So that's gone up 5%. And during the last 60 days, up until recently, in the last few days, I didn't go to the gym. I didn't do strength training. I was just actually working and then coming home and resting. My body is like going through an intense healing process. And so I allowed myself. But so those are my statistics. And how I measured that was I got on the scale every other day, because that was another thing. When I created my framework, I also went through the process of facing things head on. I wanted to see my weight. I wanted to see what was happening. I no longer was going to allow the scale to have that power over me. I decided I was going to take my power back and I was going to look at that scale every other day and just use it as a tool. I've made a video about my whole theory about the scale, but that's what I decided to do for me. I know, and part of that was also, I wanted to break myself out of other people's belief systems. I have my own, and I was like at the place where I was defining these things for me. And, there was a lot of stuff going on in the background for me, but I'm just going to stick to ADF because that's what this is about. So anyway, adopting my own belief systems. And I don't believe that the scale is like the boogeyman, or it's going to make me fail, or it's going to make me trigger me to binge. It did before because I believed those things, is all I'm saying. So that was a commitment I wanted to make to myself. And believe me, there were two of my hardest fast days where I did like a 40-hour fast, and I just, it was hard in the sense that I was constantly in this hunger place. Emotions were like pinging off the chart. And I sat in those 40-hour fasts, like minute by minute. And I was like warrior girl. Nothing was going to make me sabotage all those chatter, everything. I was like, I was in a war. And so I had two of those really, really brutal fasts. And then when I got on the scale after those brutal fasts, my weight had gone up 2 pounds, but I didn't care. Those things didn't have power over me anymore. I knew what I wanted. I knew why I wanted it, and I knew how I was going to do it. And nothing was going to take me off my course. But it was hard. It was brutal to like go through that, experience it. But I did it. And yeah, this authentic component was to embrace who I am. For many years, I lived as like the girly girl, and I'm like, I don't feel like I'm a girly girl, but there are times when I am, but I just want to be who I am. If some days I don't wear makeup, I don't wear makeup. If some days I just throw my hair up, I throw my hair up. I didn't want to feel like pressured to be something I wasn't. And I felt like ADF and losing weight and all these other whys was going to foster that. And, I could go to the gym and wear high-cut sneakers and get tattoos, whatever I wanted. Like recreating myself, or not even recreating myself, but really letting the authentic me emerge after, you know, so many things that have happened to me and experiences and da 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 da. That was really important to me. And then the food part, like I wanted, part of my why was I want to eat what I want. I like baking. I mean, I probably have homemade sourdough bread at least every eat day, if not every other eat day. That's incredible to me. You know, probably I just had restricted myself for so long. I'm like, I'm going to eat my homemade bread. So yeah, and also other things, like I want to make fermented vegetables, and there's so many things that I want to do. And I'll tell you, through these 60 days, I have ticked off every single one of my why. Like I've done it. I'm not completely there. My weight loss goal I haven't completely met, but I know today I trust alternate day fasting. Like 100%. I know that if I do this thing, this structure, this framework called alternate day fasting, and I do that consistently, there's no cheat days. There are no, like, I'm just going to have a splash of this, or I'll just have a nibble of that. When you're fasting, fast. And that was so important to me because I had decided that I wanted all these benefits of fasting. The thought of, you know, a tablespoon of cream in my coffee was going to affect my fast. I didn't want any risk. You know, there's a lot of information out there that certain whatever you can consume will still be in your fast. I didn't care. I wanted to know that I was doing everything I could to get those benefits, and nothing was important enough to deter me from that. And so that was my experience. So yeah, if you are looking to change your life and you want to be successful and you're ready to get in the trenches, put your boots on the ground and get her done, this is the most amazing process that I have ever done. I'm 54. I have done it all. I have tried everything. I've done it all. Alternate day fasting is the only thing I have stuck to. Like 60 days for me is unbelievable. So if I can do it, you can do it. And I'm sending out encouragement. So I just wanted to share this bit of my story. I also have my 30-day update on my channel. If you like this video, hit like. If you want to see more content from me, subscribe. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video.